Hey, welcome back to Into Outdoors. Today we're going to go ahead and do a little tutorial on how to clean a pump action shotgun. Right here I've got the Benelli Nova in a 12 gauge. I'll go ahead and move the camera and we'll get this thing tore apart and get it cleaned up. Alright, so I like to go ahead and start right from the end of the barrel. So we'll go ahead and take out the choke. I just have a long tube choke here. So go ahead and twist that out of the way. And we'll go ahead and set it off to the side. And we'll move over here to taking off the barrel. To go ahead and take the barrel off, you take this little screw cap off. So be careful, on some other guns, the little clip's not in here to hold the spring in, and it'll go ahead and flip out and you'll have a flying spring everywhere. So right there's the little spring holder. So we'll go ahead and just pull on this barrel. Now that we got that screw off, it'll just slide right out. So there's the barrel right there. We'll go ahead and set it off to the side for just a second. Now we can go ahead and start taking apart our trigger mechanism, our firing pin mechanism, and take off the stock piece. So to take that trigger mechanism out, what I like to do is take just a little Allen key or Allen wrench and poke these two little pins here. So usually I use one that's about either the same size or just a little bit smaller. So go ahead and put that right there on one of those pins and push down, and you'll feel it slip through. So we'll go to the other one, do the same thing. Then we can go ahead and flip it over. You can go ahead and pull those pins. I like to pull them all the way out. They do have little stops on them, but I just like to pull them all the way out. So pull that one out. Pull the other one out. We'll set them off to the side. Now this part can get a little tricky. Go ahead and we want to pull up and back on the trigger mechanism at the same time. There's a little dovetail right here and it'll get stuck on there. So go ahead and pull up just like that. It is a little stiff in there. There's the trigger mechanisms. We'll go ahead and set that off to the side as well. Now we'll be able to get our little stock piece off. So right inside here, there's two little rails, one on that side and one on that side. That helps that slides the firing pin mechanism forward. So we'll go ahead and just kind of put it about halfway. It's not too big of a deal. We'll go ahead and pull those two little rails all the way up, and then you can slide your firing pin mechanism back. And that whole stock piece will come right out like that. So we'll go ahead and set that off to the side. To remove the firing mechanism, you want to go ahead and push in on that and then pull up on the back side here, and that'll let it slide past these rails. So we'll push up and it'll go ahead and slide right out. So how I was doing that is just pushing that in, so that'll turn it just enough to slide past the rails inside there. So we'll go ahead and set that off to the side as well. Now all you have in there is just basically the frame and everything. There does collect some dirt in there, so I like to take just my regular brush here and clean out any of the dirt, anything that could be in there, and give it a good little brush. Any little crap that could be in there, just scrub it out just like that. Take one of these cleaning cloths and just get in there, clean up any of that dirt we kicked loose, just wipe everything down real good, just like that. It's not too dirty, and then we'll go ahead and take another one of our cloths and we'll fold it up and put a little bit of this gun oil on it. Just put it right there at the tip. And I like to just take that, and you can see in there the rails that firing pin mechanism slides on when you cock it back. I like to just hit that with a little bit of oil. Get that really oiled up nice. And then just kind of hit everything else in there. That'll go ahead and kind of help protect it for if you get any water or anything like that in there. So let's go ahead and do that. You'll get some dirt off of there. It's not a big deal. Let's keep going in there, get it all oiled up. Just like that. And then I do like to check right up here by where your magazine tube is and your plug is if you're a waterfowl hunter. And you can see there's kind of a little bit of dirt and stuff that's built up right there. I like to just take a cloth, clean that up, just wipe it off real quick. It's not a huge deal. Just wipe that up. Just like that. And the stock part is pretty much done right there, so we'll go and set it off to the side. We'll move over to the firing pin mechanism. So right here, I just like to do a quick wipe down, get all that crap off of there, get up around all the curves and everything. Get on the bottom where it rubs on those rails. Right up here. So go ahead and wipe this up, get all that stuff off of there, clean right there where the shell sits by the firing pin. Rub that up nice and good. You can see it comes off a little dirty but not too bad. So we'll go ahead and take another one of our cleaning cloths, fold it up, and we'll put a little bit of gun oil on it. Like I said, just like put a little bit right there at the tip, you don't need a whole lot. And then we'll go ahead and wipe down right there where the shell sits. Just all around. This again will protect from any of that rust or water that gets in there. And just wipe everything down good, get a good clean on it, and get everything all oiled up. So right there where it slides, you can get the underneath of it, the body of it. Everything good and wiped down. And then before I wipe off the excess, I like to drip just a little bit of oil right down in that firing pin. Just a little dot right in that firing pin there. And then I'll take another one of our cleaning cloths and just do a quick wipe down of the whole thing. Just get any of that excess oil off of there. Just get it all cleaned up nice, and so it's not dripping oil anymore. Just like that, and that's all I do for the firing pin. We'll go ahead and set that off to the side. The trigger mechanism, there's not a whole lot to do. I mean, if you notice a little bit of dirt or anything like that, you can wipe it off. Anything, you can run your brush through it real quick, like that. There is little slides or little parts where it sits on that frame that you can wipe off real quick if you wanted to. But it's not a big deal. There's not a whole lot in here to oil up. So we'll go ahead and move away from that. Let's go ahead and move on to the barrel. Right here, we got the barrel. So we'll just go ahead and take one of our rods and a wire brush at first. I like to use one of these wire brushes just to run down there real quick, keep everything cleaned up and break anything up that could be in there. So we'll go ahead and put that on our rod. And this is totally up to you. I just like to do it because it frees anything up. So go ahead and stick it right down the barrel there. Run it through there. Bring it back. I usually do this 1 or 2 times. We'll do it 2 times this time. We'll run it back out. So that just broke up any of that stuff that's in there. And now I like to use this other cloth brush to clean up and really pull out any of that stuff that the wire brush knocked loose. So, and you can go ahead and put some of that bore cleaner on as well. Some of this right here. But where this one you can tell has been used quite a bit. It's got plenty of it on there. Push it in there. It will be a little tight. That's just cleaning all of it out of there. We'll pull it back through. And then you can just look up, put look up and see the light through it, and it's really clean in there now. So that's all we got to do for the barrel. So now we'll go ahead and put everything back together. But before we do that, let's check our choke real quick. Just make sure if it's clean, if it's got any dirt or anything on it. If it does, just take one of your cloths, wipe it down, clean any of that off of there. Mine gets a little bit of mud and stuff on it from me tightening it while we're out in the field and stuff. So then you can, if you'd like, put just a little bit of gun oil on there. Just slip it on there a little bit, and then just rub it in with your cloth and then clean off the excess. Just like that. Get all that crap off of there. And then let's go ahead and start putting everything back together. So move these out of the way, we'll grab the stock back. So let's go ahead and get that firing pin assembly back in. So like I said, you want to push that in while you're pushing it in, or while you're putting it in here. Go ahead and push that in, and that'll get it to slide right by those rails, because if you can see, you can't pull it out without pushing that in. And then you just drop that on. It's right there on that rail. Then we'll go ahead and take our other stock piece. You can see all those cuts in there, or notches. That sits right there on your fire pin mechanism, and that's what brings it forward and cocks it back. So we'll go ahead and slide that on. I like to turn it upside down, and then it's got its own little place. If you look in here, it's got its own little place to go, so it'll slide in there. And now if you look on here, I'll show you on this one side, there's these little notches here. You want to line both of those little bars up with those notches, and then that'll go ahead and slide all the way back in there. So we'll slide it all the way back, and then it'll go ahead and catch that firing pin mechanism. You can see how it kind of works right there. So now that that's all hooked up, we can go ahead and put our trigger mechanism back in. So to do that, there's that little dovetail I was telling you about before. So we want to stick that in right into its little hole there. There's a little notch out for it. So we want to put that there and push the whole trigger mechanism down. Then we can go ahead and flip it over. Alright, so this one, on this particular model, we have the smaller pin on the front and the larger one in the back. So we'll go ahead and put that smaller one in, slide it in, and then go ahead and take that bigger one, push it in the back. Sometimes you have to push the trigger mechanism in a little bit to get it to slip in there. And then you push that in. Then I like to just take that Allen key or Allen wrench back again and push those all the way in, just like that. Make sure they're in there. Now we can go ahead and flip it back over, and we'll go ahead and put the barrel on. Put the barrel on. You just want to line up this little hole. We'll go over your magazine tube, and then you just slide it right in there. Just like that. So go ahead and put your cap back on, and just tighten it till it stops clicking, and once it gets tight there, you don't have to crank down on it. Then let's go ahead and put our choke back in. This goes in the end. Just very lightly screw that in there. You don't want to push down on it too hard or you'll cross thread it. And just twist it in there till it stops. Give it a little tight, and there that is. Now you can go ahead and run it a few times. So on this one you just pull this little button up here and that releases the action. So we'll go ahead and pull it back. I like to just run it a few times, get all that oil through there and everything going that way. And yeah, that's how you clean a pump action shotgun. This one's all ready to go for another duck hunting day. Thank you for checking out Uinta Outdoors. If you like this kind of content, go ahead and leave me a like and subscribe. We'll keep putting out this kind of content and hanging out in the great outdoors.